Well, hey everybody, it's your good buddy 650 Ebe here, and welcome to season 6 of the new bike build series. This season we're using a brand new 2019 Kawasaki Ninja H2, and with the help of our channel sponsor, the magnificent Miami Manny from Moto Million, we're transforming that bike into something more special than it was stock. At the end of the build series, we are giving that bike away to one of you outstanding people viewing this video. Information on how you might be the lucky person to win that motorcycle is in the description. In today's episode, Zack, the master mechanic, will install a beautiful single-sided swing arm onto our Ninja H2, and he'll tell you exactly why we're doing that. But if you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, tap that bell and you'll get notified when new content is uploaded. It's cold out here. I'm gonna go inside and see what Zack's up to and get started on this swing arm install. Hey, Zack.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey. So we got a great, exciting episode for today's new bike build series. We got the extended swing arm and we got it painted. Ooh. We've been showing it and we're gonna try to get that installed as much as possible today.
All right.
So I did a little bit of prep work on it, just stuff that you can go to other new bike build videos and see, like taking the chain off. I sumped the rear brake system, so that just means I took all the fluid out of it, loosened up a couple bolts here and there, and I took the wheel off, got the exhaust out of the way. Nothing, you'll see it go back on. Nothing too important or anything. So we're just gonna dive right in because we're gonna need all the time we can to get this thing together. There's just a lot of little pieces, parts, and some pressing and measuring we gotta do. So first things first, while everything, if you were to do this yourself, you'd wanna leave the chain on because you need to loosen the sprocket bolts, you need to loosen this nut over here, loosen this nut, and that's all easier if you let the chain and the engine do the holding. So I did all that, and then I cut the chain, and then I just popped this back on to show. So you would just flatten out your tabs on the countershaft sprocket nut, remove it, and then we can remove the chain. Put it off to the side. We can take this cotter pin out over here. We can remove the nut from our rear hub assembly. So this is actually all rides in a big bearing, and this is what holds it together. And we're gonna put this whole assembly into the new swing arm.
Nice.
So this is gonna come out of here. This should come off. Oh, we'll pop our caliper off. And our brake line, because we're gonna have to install a new longer brake line. That's probably gonna be the hardest part of this whole install because it connects way up in here somewhere. We have to extend the ABS sensor wire, so we're either gonna cut it and just solder in our own new wires, or there might be enough wire tucked up in there and get this brake line off. I think it'll be easier once the swing arm's out of the way. I'm hoping. So once we get our caliper off, we can remove our brake. It's just splined to this hub here. Then we gotta pop our ABS sensor off of this bracket here. Because we have a new billet aluminum bracket we're gonna also use. It's gonna look pretty sweet. Looks like there's a shim behind there, so we'll set that off to the side. Wanna make sure you reinstall that. Keeps your air gap correct. Brake line, we can disconnect. Might drip a little bit of fluid, but most of it is sucked out. So I got the sprocket all loosened up. And then to get this brake holder off, it's held on with a snap ring, so we're gonna use some snap ring pliers. And we'll slide this out of the way. And this whole aluminum part is what we're gonna be removing. And putting into the new swing arm. All right, so now we just gotta get the ABS sensor wire and the brake line removed from our swing arm. So it's just mounted in a couple random spots. The new swing arm, everything winds up underneath, so you don't really see it. It's kind of cool. This lug is also removable, which is what locates the brake. I don't know if we have to move that to the new one or not, but kind of interesting that that's removable. Now we're gonna move on to the main bolt that holds our swing arm is right here. Looking in the service manual, they recommend loosening these other two also. I don't know, maybe it just flexes the frame out a little bit. So I guess we're gonna loosen all three of these. And then we have to remove our shock linkage here. There we go. Now, this should
Swing arm's out.
Swing arm is out. It's pretty light for as large as it looks.
Yeah.
It is a very light assembly. You can see it's hollow inside.
Yes.
So They definitely tried to keep it as light as possible, but as strong as possible. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So now we have to reuse these collars that are in here and these dust seals, and we have to press some new bearings into our other swing arm. But yeah, so let's get that stuff removed from this one, and then we'll be ready to work on the new one. Usually swing arms are just all needle bearings.
Yeah.
I'll show you in just a second. We got to pop that seal out. I'm going to do it with a nice wide pry bar. That way we can reuse it. It's not an oil seal, so as long as we don't harm the lips, we could reuse this seal. All right, so you can see we got the new swing arm. This is how it's going to look roughly, but it's got no bearings in it, so we got to go ahead and install those bearings.
Okay.
I've had them in the freezer overnight, so hopefully they'll press in really easy for us.
Yes.
The one side's going to have the ball bearing and take the snap ring. The other side gets the needle bearings. Yep. And then we just need a little plate or socket that's the size of the outside of that bearing, so we can, just a little bit big, of course, drive it on home. Should hear the sound change. Hear it become more of a thud.
Yeah.
That means we're in all the way. So with all snap rings, you pretty much get them in as far as you can with the pliers, and then just push on them with the screwdriver, and you'll hear it snap into position. Now the other side's gonna get a roller bearing, and this side gets two of the needle rollers. Let me grab them. They all have Kawasaki part numbers, as you can see, the genuine parts from Japan. Yes. Kawasaki, they came with the kit, so that's super nice.
Yep.
I'm not sure why they don't just install them.
Yeah.
I guess because they figure it's gonna get painted or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you can't reuse your old ones, because you'll destroy them by the time you get these out. This type of bearing, if I can get it out of the bag, you always install with the writing facing out. I'm not exactly sure why, but every service book says that. If you see, there's just fine writing on it. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna put that facing outwards. So we'll just take this in until it's flush, and then I'll have to find something that's the same diameter, most likely a socket in this case, and we'll press it in. I gotta look at the book there to see how far in we gotta go. So you can see I marked on the socket with a piece of tape there, 5.5 millimeters. So once I get to the edge of the tape, I'll just stop and we should be at a good distance.
That is outstanding work.
And then we'll install our two collars and the dust seals, a little bit of extra grease, and move on to the other side. All right, so we got finished up installing the bearings into the swing arm. Our sleeves are in there, you can see it spins. We'll double check once we mount it up. That it moves up and down freely, doesn't have any side-to-side play.
Yep.
Put some fresh grease on this because we want it to be able to slide in and out.
Okay.
If it ever needs to be removed for service. This will definitely make it easier to remove. Because it was already starting to get stuck. You saw when we had to hit it, it was corroding.
Yes.
You can see the corrosion on here. Because they didn't have any grease on it at the factory. Just tightening up our swing arm frame bolts again. Okay. 44 Newton meters is the torque spec on the upper and lower one, and then 108 in the middle. All right, everything's all snugged up. We're just gonna route our brake line. There's these nice clamps all along the bottom here of the swing arm, so that'll get us where we need to go. We'll work on that for a couple minutes, and then we'll zip tie this to the brake line. Now we're gonna hang our caliper back on so we can route our brake line.
That's a Brembo caliper.
That it is. Got all Brembo components.
Nice.
Levers, master cylinders, it's all nice stuff. Just digging out our Vortex sprockets. Got the front one on already, 19 tooth, just like the stock one was. Okay. And looks like, let's see what size is our rear, I'll tell you in a second.
I think it's a 43.
Is that what they come with?
Yeah. I think I went down one tooth.
Did you?
I had it match the one that's on my bike.
Okay. Yep, this is a 43. Yeah. Just getting our rear brake bled back out. We had to completely sump the system, which means drain all the fluid out of it so that we could get that new brake line on. Okay. So now we have to suck all the air out and replace it with fluid. So this tool creates a vacuum on the whole brake system and hopefully does that for us so we can just minimally bleed it out by hand. So as you can see, our rear brake pedal works as it should. This is still rocking because it's loose back here. We have to leave it loose until we get the chain on, which is what's up next. So just like your car, standard 5 lug nut pattern here.
Okay.
bolts our stock wheel back on.
Which won't be on there for long because we've got a set of brand new Rotobox Boost wheels with green accents coming, Zach.
Great, we got good clearance on the swing arm.
Yeah, see.
So that's a good thing.
Oh, that would have been a catastrophe, huh?
Yeah, we would just have to make some brackets or something.
Yep.
But it was not an issue, so I'm happy with that.
Me too.
Wow, what a transformation.
Yes.
We went from the stock short black swing arm to this really long frame matching green one.
Beautiful.
Awesome gold EK chain.
Yes.
We do have a eliminator for this, so
Yes,
as soon as we bring this up a little bit, it won't look so awkward.
Yes.
And like you were saying before, 6 inches is a good size to go oversized. It's going to give you straight line stability, but you still have maneuverability at speed. You don't really notice it.
That's right.
And yeah, all the greens are tying together, so stay tuned. We got some more good stuff coming.
Oh yeah, man. Awesome.
But hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Finally, we got to tear into the bike a little bit. I can't wait. Soon enough, we got to be getting this gas tank off to see what's underneath there. We can check out the supercharger, and it should be really neat.
That'll be awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Catch everyone next time.
Thanks, Zach. Well, yeah, you heard him. The bike looks great. It's going to perform well. I'm taking it to Miami, so make sure you stay tuned and check out the videos of me riding this bike and someone else, or maybe myself, one of my good buddies, riding my 2016 on the streets of Miami. And I'm going to show you exactly why we're going to upgrade the power on our build bike to make it close to what mine is. Mine currently has 316 horsepower, but when we're done with the build bike, it'll have more than 325 horsepower. So stay tuned for that. You can still enter to win the bike. Information on how to do that is in the description. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, tap that bell and you'll get notified when new content is uploaded. Both bikes look amazing. I mean, I don't know which one I prefer best. Mine with the silver frame and swing arm, or the New Bike Build Series 2019 H2 with its green swing arm and frame. Both of these bikes look amazing. Somebody is going to be happy when they win this motorcycle. All right, folks, we're going to get these bikes packed up and head down to Miami. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for viewing. We'll catch you next time on the 650 EV YouTube channel.